So we're going to arm lock this arm. Now, there's two different ways to do this, and it's going to depend on what he gives you. So if Lance just decides to push up as hard as he can, like this is going to be the easiest way that we can arm lock somebody, and we're just going to pivot, swing our hips. So he pushes up at max position. I can easily swing my legs out and hit a very, very fast, straight arm lock. This is going to be very useful when people have an emphasis on, hey, I just got to get up, or it's a self-defense or MMA setting and they're trying to hit you. The harder he moves his body up, the easier it is for me to swing my legs off of him. And all we're going to make sure we could do this two different ways. All we're going to do is, as my left leg gets over his head, the left hand is going to go catch his elbow. The right hand stays on his head for pretty much until my left leg locks in. Once my left leg locks in, then we're going to let that arm go and then go into our regular arm lock setting, which we'll talk about in a second. The second method that you could do when you're swinging around the corner, and on the other one as well, is lock the shoulders first, which is called a top lock. We lock the top lock first, then we drive our left knee into his shoulder, which centers this arm off. Then we take an elbow deep, then we pass the leg over the head. And both of those arm locks are both very, very good. Whether you go top lock first or whether you go straight to the arm, both exceptional ways to take the arm off of that swing. Now, contrary to pressing up, he might stay very low. If he stays low, we're going to have to use an approach where we put the foot on the hip. And then just remember, this is a very basic style arm lock. The foot's going to go on the hip. The knee will be behind his shoulder. And then we take the arms. Let's rotate this way, buddy. So if that happens, it's the same as if we were going to take an arm lock where we have a cross wrist setting. It's the exact same as that. We have a foot that's going to have to go on the hip. And remember, if you have trouble with putting your foot on the hip, say I can't reach the hip, then we just do a little hip movement first to that side, and then we put the foot on the hip. Once you're here, the right leg is going to come nice and high on the back, and then everything is the same. I'm going to move my hips out. We're going to now put this left leg over the top of the head or over the shoulder into a top lock setting, and then take the arm. We're gonna focus on the top lock setting on this, just because our other arm lock, where it's just a standard arm lock, is already on another video. But this one right here, I'm gonna take my leg open, very, very wide, and then use a knee on the shoulder approach to lock my feet. When we do that, you can see that Lance's elbow went from side. It really didn't matter where his arm was. It went from side of my hip to center of my chest, and we can get it there by just pinching the knees in, walking the back leg up, and now all of a sudden we have an arm in perfect position. Whereas before, it might not have been in that perfect position because he was down. So again, let's take a look at that style arm lock. It's when someone is down, we're gonna need to use the foot on the hip. We move our hips out, we got our foot on the hip, right leg comes up nice and high. And here's this different approach of, I move my hip, but his elbow is still out here by my hip. So we're gonna open our knee nice and wide, we're gonna get around the shoulder, and then I'm gonna lock my legs and pinch my knees. Once we pinch the knees, the arm is moved into the center of the chest, and then we have our nice straight Jujikatami, or an arm lock. This is very, very helpful because that's what he feels. If he's got experience here, he's gonna feel that this elbow is safe. And then we're gonna use that pressure of the knee to slide his elbow into the center of my chest. Let's just review one more time, or I wanna stress one more time, this one little tiny place. When we open the legs, you are gonna feel like, wait a minute, Sean, I'm gonna lose the arm. If I open my knee that tight, I'm gonna completely lose your arm, or lose his arm. You're right, you could lose the arm completely. And it's this sweet spot of right about here that I need to clear. So my knee is coming up to my shoulder. It's not coming up to his shoulder. It's coming out to his shoulder so that when I pinch, it forces his elbow in. But you're right, you could lose the arm. And if he yanks the arm out, the great thing is because I had his head down and his arm on the outside, you get a very good triangle. And we'll look at that follow-up later. So please be rest assured that when you're doing this position, you don't need to worry about if the arm comes out because of where this arm is and we're pulling his head down. So he'll only be able to pull one arm out at a time. The other one will be grounded. And that's a very good that's one of the reasons why I favor this setup over just having the arm for the majority of arm locks these days. So anyway, we move to get to the foot to the hip. I walk my right leg up. I make sure that my left leg opens nice and wide. We close the feet and drive the knees in. It'll press his arm to the center of my body, and then we're now elbow deep, and we finish on the arm. Please do remember when we do finish on the arm that what we want is I want my lower leg up as high up to the armpit as it will go. My lower leg is what is going to be my drive leg, more or less. So it's going to come up, it's going to bite down, and it's always going to be angled towards the top leg. So I cannot afford to have his back inside the arm, inside the arm lock. I want my right leg, going high to the back and angled towards my lead leg, or the head leg. The head leg is going to go just over the head. Remember that it goes over the head and it's straight on the head, so that we can offset his spine. If he has a straight spine, he's going to have a stronger defense. If I have my leg just on his head and I can take his spine off of alignment, it's going to be really hard for him to get his arm bent even in a stacked position. So bottom leg is coming up at an angle towards the top leg. It's back heeling in, so it's pulling him in like a fang. My left leg is over just his head, straight line over the head. It's also back heeling in like a frame, so our heels are pulling in, and then my lead hip is going to extend. So everything's pulling in. This back leg's back heeling in. My hamstring's pulling him in tight. My hip flexor is right around 90 or a little less. This lead leg is just over his head. It's also pulling in, but then we're going to extend the hip on this side, trying to touch the mat, and it's going to get us a very, very tight arm lock. Always remember that we have an elbow deep position on the arm, and then the wrist will back that up until the arm is at extension. Once the arm is at full extension, we can afford then to go two hands on the wrist. But I like to say that until the arm is at full extension, we keep an elbow in a hand. We don't go to drift to two hands if the arm is not at full extension. So one more time, we'll hit both arm locks. Again, it all requires me to pummel first. When Lance is trying to posture up hard, it's easy just to swing the legs around the corner, have one arm lock around the head, or he pulls up and I hit my top lock. Same top lock, we pinch the knees in, the arm comes to center, and then we lock out the arm. Same is true on the swinging one, is that if I lost the arm, it's an easy